Give folks some sense of the size and uniqueness of what we call the Yankee Air Museum.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly have that traditional museum aspect about us, but certainly dynamically, the way we run the organization is very different than a lot of traditional museums. And as you mentioned, the Thunder over Michigan Air Show, not just the marquee event for Yankee Air Museum, but it's a marquee event in Southeast Michigan. And of course, it embodies the spirit of celebrating our military past and present, and obviously bringing American aeronautics to the forefront in what we think is one of the most dynamic ways that you can celebrate, the aviation industry and those that have worked and served, in that industry. Thunder is just one example. The other piece to us that is so different than most traditional static museums is the aircraft that we fly, but also that we give rides on. So right now we've transformed our flyable fleet, the aircraft that actually fly in the collection, to make sure that people are able to ride on these. So there's 5 different airplanes that we now have in the historic flying aircraft collection that people can pay and get up in the air and actually go for a ride in them. And there's so few museums that you can get into an artifact and experience the artifact live. And that's one of the things that makes us, again, very, very different in the fact that you can fly on a World War II bomber. You can fly on a 1928 trimotor. You can fly in a Vietnam-era Huey helicopter. All these different experiences and what we call air adventures, because they are. It's an adventure, which, again, just breaks that mold of museum as you think of placards and artifacts and dim lights. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it at all, because we have that static aspect of it, but we want to be more dynamic than just a static museum.
Listen to this full episode and more on the Apple Podcasts app, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio.